Hey, Jesse.
Hello, Lindsay.
What are you drinking today?
A little bit of Bloody Mary left over, and I'm going to go ham today because today is the day.
It is.
I'm drinking Sprite.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no, 7 Up.
7 Up.
Because I don't never buy 7 Up.
And Bloody Mary.
It's zero sugar 7 Up.
Zero sugar for your health.
I'm going fucking ham today. I'm going ham.
Ham.
What are you drinking?
I've got a Bloody Mary with a backup White Claw mixture of the mango and peach. Remember, I don't like the mango, but if I mix the mango with the peach, it is perfection. And it's very, very, very crispy.
I busted the seal on this here zero proof, zero sugar, zero alcohol, 7 Up.
Well, you have a Bloody Mary that I lovingly made you along with fantastic bagel breakfast sandwiches this morning. So good. I've been craving bagels so much lately.
Oh my God, it was so good.
And I was like, I'm going to make sandwiches.
Lindsay makes the best breakfast bagels ever. They are the best. They are.
Breakfast bagels.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm wanting to sing everything today.
What are we doing here?
Probably just because I really want my life to be a musical.
So in talk, it's always sing to song talk.
If
like
there
everything?
is a heaven, I will go there and my life will be a musical.
So The Good Place.
Well, The Good Place had kind of had twists and turns. I don't know if I want to go to The Good Place.
The Bad Place trying to be the good place.
And then there was the mid place.
I don't know.
You keep falling asleep watching that show. I've been watching the show The Good Place.
I've only collectively watched
Thank you,
30
Aaron
minutes
Russell,
of all of it.
for your recommendations. And watching Ted Danson in another series is cool. I love Ted Danson, man.
Yeah.
He's cool.
I don't know.
He'll never be... What?
I mean, I don't know.
He'll never be as cool as Cheers Ted Danson, but he's pretty close in The Good Place. Yeah. Cheers Ted Danson was top tier. Anyhow, what made you feel old this week? Yeah.
I have no idea how much I dread it. I hate it. This is the worst part of this whole damn thing.
You can make it be a positive thing. He's like, you know what? That did make me feel old, but I'm kind of glad that happened. You can make it a positive experience. Like I've done that in the past. It doesn't always have to be negative.
But that's what sticks because, I mean, I painted our bathroom in the middle of the week and that kicked my ass like the next day. Why? Painting. All the taping and all the work and all that, you know?
Paint, but, you know, somebody's got to do it.
He was like putting it on.
And we balling on a budget over here.
We'll do it. We'll do it. Oh, no, we'll do it then. Oh, we'll do it. No,
I literally said 2 weeks ago that we were going to do it today. And then you just went ahead and did it because you were like, I got to get it done.
I've been waiting 2 weeks and I was like looking at it and I wanted to do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to surprise her.
At it.
I was going to surprise you with doing it, you know, and then I did it and it did me just painting. And then I went to work and I was by myself all week. So we just kicked my ass the whole week at work, kicked my ass. Mm-hmm. Then the holiday and everybody trying to get all their shit together. And yeah, that made me feel old. Just simple little thing.
Well, I had like 3 hot flashes while we were at the Springs yesterday.
Yeah, you were in and out. You're like, look at all the tube, I'm burning up.
Yes. And it wasn't just like, it was hot outside. Don't get me wrong. But this like heat happens from the inside. Yeah. So, and I had to, I was like, you know what? Just let me get in this cold water. And it felt so much better.
Is it almost like you're having like a sickness, but it goes away real fast? You know, you have those cold chills and then hot inside of you, like when you're sick. It's
different because like when you get those chills when you're sick, it's like painful and you just want to curl up in a blanket and go to sleep. You don't want to do that when you're having a hot flash. You want to go to the nearest cooler or water or something, you know what I mean? Something that's going to cool you off instantly. So
that sucks.
It's completely different. Yeah. But you know what? It's part of life and we're here. Now, you know what?
I support you, Lindsay.
I induced one the other day by eating some Nashville hot sauce with my grilled chicken at work.
You ate some food and it gave you a hot flash.
Oh, yeah. I listened, my whole T-zone area was beaded with sweat and the top of my lip. That's never happened before. You know me, like when I eat something spicy, like it'll make my eyes water before it makes me do anything else.
The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips.
The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. But that Nashville hot, and it's never done that until this past week, gave me the complete sweats. But you know what? I ate some more again the next day because that shit is so good.
Did you want to see if it's going to happen again too?
It did.
It did. Do you have to let it linger? And I'm going back, dude.
I don't give
this
a
this hot flash was so good. I'm going back. So I apologize real quick. We got a new tablet and we're doing new audio stuff right now, and hopefully everything turns out well.
Stick with us. We thank you so much for following us thus far.
We're fixing to get on to our most epicness.
Yeah, so roll that intro. And
I think it's going to be our
talk about it.
Our most epicness.
Yeah.
So journey with us. And happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
I feel like I'm riding like a carriage and we're on our way to kill vampires with that song while doing disco. Like mariachi disco. Does that make sense? No? I don't know. I'm hearing all that.
It's kind of, yeah, I kind of just pictured that whole scenario in my head right then.
So like the carriage is kicking ass. It's like, you know, set way back probably like 1600s or some shit. But the carriage has disco lights panels like on the floor flashing, you know?
I don't know if I want to kill vampires though. I kind of want to be one.
I mean, we are vampires, but we're vampires going to kill vampires.
I want to be like a vampire witch werewolf hybrid.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's too many.
I read about one of those remember during the pandemic when I got into reading werewolf novels?
There's a word for that. There's a name for that. What is that? Not a lichen lollipus. I don't know. What is that word? Where you're like a liking vampire?
I like vampwitch.
Yeah.
I like vampwitch.
Yeah.
I don't know. But remember in 2020 when I got into reading the vampire novels because there was just not a lot to do. And suddenly they started coming up in my news feeds, these books, and I would read like one a day.
Right.
It was insane. But anyway.
Well, who was it that came back that was the vampire in DC? Was it DC? No, it was Marvel. He was the vampire that came back. That was the Blade. Yeah. Blade came back. Wesley Snipes came back. And I was like, that was one of my favorite vampires. The vigilante vampire with the fucking Deadpool, sword.
And the whole theater stood up and cheered. It was amazing.
Well, that needs to come back.
That is okay, so, you know, a lot of people have gotten away from going to movie theaters, but that is experience that you'll never get at home unless you've got 40 people watching the same movie with you.
Yeah, the stranger camaraderie. Everybody just gets together on something. Makes it way better.
Yeah, that was great.
That was the most epic
moment.
Wesley pops up all old and gray and like, I'm here to kick ass. And he kicked ass.
And then, of course, Chris Evans played, you know, who's also Captain America, also played Johnny Flame. And he came back and he didn't last long.
Yeah. But he was one of the many.
Yeah.
In the multiverse.
But that was great. Yes, that was a great film. Great. So before we get off into our topic today, if you are new here, what we do is we have a couple of drinks. I tell Jesse a true crime story that I've been wanting to get off my chest to him that he doesn't know about. This one today, he knows a little bit about. But most of the time, I shock and I awe him, or I make him want to go into a corner and cry or die.
So I've watched a few documentaries and things about it. So you're going to bring up things that are going to trigger in my mind. Be like, yes, yeah, I remember this. I remember that. You know, so I'm excited to revisit this horrific ass fucking human being.
Yeah. And well, at the end of each episode, we also plug a band that Jesse has sought out and gotten permission to play. And sometimes they've sought him out. So yeah, it's been a cool journey. Yeah. With the band.
We have found some cool ass fucking music here. And some of them are fixing to be famous. And we're on
episode like what, 30 something now. You guys. 37.
Yeah, I believe. 7 or 8, whatever.
We've got plenty of content for you to take a few road trips or listen while you're cleaning, cooking, doing laundry, exercising. We want to be in your ears.
Maybe this is the weekend our first episode will break 100 downloads.
Yeah.
It was at 99 last time I looked.
99.
So start from the first and then meet us here.
And meet us here. But, so today, and for the next probably 3 weeks, if not 4, we will be talking about
Dun, 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 dun.
Jim Jones.
In the name of Jesus.
And the Flavor Aid.
Oh, God, the Flavor Aid.
The Flavor Aid.
Everybody confuses that with Gatorade.
Yeah, he wasn't cool enough to have Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid, yeah, that's what it was. Flavor Aid.
But that is quite a long journey from where we're going to start.
Lindsay, you would have shit if I'd have had some Flavor Aid over here mixed up and drinking it. I got Flavor Aid, dude.
You should do that.
This is going to be a short episode. No, this is going to be a long episode. Y'all strap in.
This is going to be a long 3 to 4 episodes because there's a lot of information about this guy that I feel I should put out there if it's not already known. And okay, so Jim Jones is quite a famous. It's quite a famous name.
Famous?
It's quite a famous name, and most people know what happened because of Jim. But not everyone knows all the details and where it started. And listeners, if you haven't heard this case before, buckle up. It's a lot. James Warren Jones was born May 13th, 1931 to James Thurman Jones and Lynette Putnam Jones. Now, Lynette was born Lunette. Then she changed her name to Lynette. And then she changed her name again to Lynetta. But we're going to we're just going to say Lynette because all of that's confusing for me.
Yeah, that's a big net.
Yeah. So he was born in the rural community of Crete, Indiana. Big Jim was the son of a Quaker and had been a road worker who went off to fight in World War I. Jim had not been a very ambitious man and did everything a little later in life than most did in that time period. He was 30 years old when he enlisted in the military. I mean, most do that like what, 18, 17, 18?
That's a hell of a war to take on at 30. God.
Yeah. Well, he was sent to the front lines in France, and he was caught in a German gas attack, which would give him respiratory problems for the rest of his life. He couldn't really carry on a full conversation because of this respiratory issue and had a very raspy voice, so he just didn't talk much. He was shipped back home and received a disabled veteran pension, which was about $30 a month. So that still, even in those days, wasn't enough to live on. Because that's what, $1 a day. Yeah, that's fucking wild, isn't it?
I'm looking at you like, how in the hell can you? Can't even order DoorDash for that shit.
Well, okay, so $30 was in, okay, we're going to say, so little Jim was born in 31. So we're going to say this was mid-20s.
Okay. So gas is probably like a quarter.
$30 was equal to about $400 a month in today's spending power. Isn't that wild?
But
that's still not enough to live off of. So he had to go back and work on the road crews. He also developed rheumatism, which would require him to take off work frequently. Then he met Lynette Putnam, who was quite the character, okay? She was a rebel. She smoked in public. She wore pants. Jesse, in the 20s.
I know. I'm clutching my pearls.
I know.
Yeah.
And she cussed like a sailor.
Woo!
In public. That's things that ladies just didn't do in those days.
Off-hinged flapper.
Yes. She was also somewhere between 15 and 17 years younger than Big Jim.
Wow.
Lynette had been married, I wrote twice before, but it was actually 3 times, but really wanted someone, and she was only, so this bitch was married and divorced like every other year before she met Big Jim.
And still young, just
yes, she was only like 23.
Running amok.
Amok.
She was looking for a come up.
Yes, she was. I'm about to talk about that. She really wanted someone to take care of her where she maybe could become a proper lady. And Big Jim's family was a prominent one, but she didn't get exactly what she expected. Now, Big Jim's father did get them a house, but it was on a farm in Crete.
Right. And Quakers, they build everything.
Yes.
So they have stuff, but they build it.
And that farm had to be worked. And Big Jim physically couldn't meet the demands of farm work. I mean, he was, he's out of breath all the time. And this farm required harvesting of soybeans and corn, along with raising and slaughtering and selling pigs. And neither one of them were cut out for this type of work. And Big Jim's health declined, it just kept declining. It never got better. It just kept going downhill. Right. And he could no longer work on road crews nor help out on the farm. And then little Jimmy Jones, or JIMBA, as Lynette would call him, was born in 1931.
So when he was born, did they hold him up and put a little mark on his forehead and say, JIMBA?
JIMBA. So...
It's the circle of life. Oh. I'm just picturing it the whole time.
I know.
Jim Jones.
Well, in Modern Family, it's, oh my God, you haven't watched that show with me, but the gay couple, Cam and Mitchell, they're my favorite. When they adopt their daughter, Cam insists on doing that with their baby. That's how they present their baby to the family. It's so amazing.
So did the...
And Mitchell's like, no. And then here comes Cam with the music playing in the background. And then they have this light above.
So, I mean, how did they take care of their Pride Rock there, Lindsay?
Okay, so that's a long way from now, okay? So Big Jim's family helped him get a home in Lynn, Indiana, because they couldn't do that farm in Crete, okay? So, and the family told Lynette, hey, we're going to help you out, but only until little JIMBA, until he starts school. And then you'll have to go get a job. When JIMBA starts first grade...
You're fucking killing me with this JIMBA shit, dude.
That's what he was called. So well, I'm going to call him 3 different names. So this is childhood Jim Jones, okay? JIMBA. So when JIMBA started first grade, Lynette found factory work to keep the family afloat. And Lynette swore that her in-laws hated her, but they actually admired her and her quirky personality. And everything that the family did for them was completely out of respect, not pity. They seen that, Lynette was a hardworking little spitfire, and then they knew that Big Jim had been, unfortunately and unfairly injured in war. They weren't being shitty.
Yeah, chemical warfare is horrific.
She will forever and ever, till the day she dies, says that Big Jim's family were just asshole pieces of shit that treated her like shit. But they actually didn't.
Right.
They pretty much supported her.
Well, she had to try to adapt to the lifestyle,
Right.
And I bet little JIMBA was like, oh, I just can't wait to be king.
Oh, God. I don't even know where to go for that. Okay.
No, I'm just waiting for you. We're going to send him off and let him learn how to say Hakuna Matata. It's fucked up, Lindsay.
So, Lynn, Indiana, was the town area near where the Crete farm town was. They had certain days for everything. Wednesdays were movie night, Saturdays were for shopping, and Sundays were for church. There were, I think, 3 denominations, major denominations there: Quaker, Nazarene, and Methodist. They did not compete with each other, and on major holidays, they would actually all gather together and give speeches on how to live right and stay on the narrow path. And there were a lot of men's social clubs, like the Masons and the KKK.
Oh.
To this day, I think it still has the largest population of that organization. Indiana, period.
In Indiana, it's got a lot of Klansmen? Wow.
Yeah. And there was one lady, though, her name was Myrtle Kennedy, who did think that Nazarenes should have been the only denomination. And she definitely made her opinion known. And little JIMBA would become very close with her and would spend a lot of time with her and her husband. And that suited his mother, Lynette, just fine, as it would get JIMBA out of her hair for a while. But now, Lynette and Big Jim were about the only people in that town that were not weekly churchgoers. Lynette didn't really believe in a sky god. She was more spiritual, and she would have visions. And in fact, when she had little JIMBA, she had a vision that she would give birth to a great man who would become a great leader.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I just can't wait to be king. Go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry.
so when little Jimmy was in first grade, Lynette, like I said before, had to go to work and worked at a glass factory. Now, Big Jim, he was completely disabled. He was no longer able to do any work at this time. So he would hang out in the town pool hall all day. Lynette told little Jimmy that he couldn't go in the house until she got off work. So he kind of just ran the streets or would visit aunts and uncles and cousins, or he would go hang out at Miss Myrtle's house. Miss Myrtle was 6'2".
Wow.
Jesse, that's almost as tall as you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was Myrtle fertile?
I don't know. I have not. So I'm in the middle of a very, very long book about this case.
If Myrtle wasn't fertile.
And they've already gotten way past Miss Myrtle's subject, and I didn't hear about her having a lot of kids. She may have had one or two. I didn't write it down.
Well, if Myrtle wasn't fertile, at least she would have to wear like a man-sized girdle.
Well, she was quite the empath for transients and was always making them pies in hopes that they would join the Nazarene church. Like, she's Nazarene to the core. Now, little Jimmy, JIMBA, being from a godless home, that made Myrtle want to take him under her wing. And she never missed an opportunity to share the word of God with him. Jesus, God, in Jimmy's ears all the time. And Jimmy would even start staying overnight with she was a Kennedy. I don't know if I said that already. And he really started soaking in the Bible scriptures and would memorize them, much to Myrtle's delight. And Jimmy would even call her mom in private. And Myrtle loved that.
You're building a big salad here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. There's going to be 2 episodes of just salad. Yeah.
Wow. I'm saying like, his mom is charismatic and not really.
But atheist as fuck. Yeah.
So wide open, charismatic, just, doing her thing wide open. And then now he's hanging out with somebody that's pushing their religion.
Very religious.
Wide open too. So boom, boom, right?
So, we got a lot to cover. You see my notes here.
Boom, boom. I'm seeing it.
So, and she in her mind, Myrtle had saved little Jimmy's soul, because he was in a godless house. But much to her chagrin, he would get curious of other denominations in town and would start attending those services as well. Little Jimmy especially loved, I'm going to let you guess. What do you think he loved the most?
And as far as religion goes?
Not as a denomination, but what type of services do you think he loved the most? I'm just going to give you one guess.
Charismatic. Like
revival. Yes.
Pentecostals.
Well, they haven't gotten to that. That hasn't come onto the scene yet. So
no Baptist, nobody, no.
Well, this was he would go to the revivals. He was baptized like as often as he could, and this was like really odd to most people because he's like getting baptized every week. Yeah.
So he's like reset. He's just throwing it back.
Oh my God.
Hello, what did I do this week? Wait a minute. It's washed away.
If you had just heard that reset, if anybody listening has listened to one of Jesse's former bands, we won't say the name just in case the crazy person might be a listener.
Whoever.
You will get that reference. You only need to know 2 words, but they're the same motherfucking word. We're going to say it twice. Reset. Anyways, this would make him as odd as his parents to the townspeople, okay? And his oddness would continue when World War II broke out and little Jimmy acquired an admiration for Adolf Hitler.
What?
Now, don't act like that's crazy, because we done talk about another motherfucker that loved Hitler. And he went on to be
I guess he's in the
terrible
right town.
person.
Yeah, maybe he started joining some of those little gatherings.
So he
Like
was
hate,
in his early teens around this time, maybe even younger. So he did not understand what Hitler was doing, but he would like the way that Hitler spoke to the crowds and how those crowds would stand at attention and listen. He would get his cousins to act as Nazis as he pretended to be Hitler, like having them goose step and all that shit. And until
He had him lined up already. Come on, Simba. Jimba.
now his kid, because I'm just picturing this shit in my head, it's wild.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not gonna lie. When I was in high school, and actually way earlier than that, when I first read The Diary of Anne Frank, that was in 5th grade. I had to do a book report on it. I had to dress as her to give that book report presentation. I became obsessed with the whole Holocaust after that.
Yeah.
All the way up until high
something
school.
like that just breaks the trend of anybody trying to be against humanity.
Well,
when you read something like that, or you just look into something like that, and you're just like,
I definitely wasn't obsessed.
I remember
with Hitler.
in school too, looking at the books of bodies piled up, and
God,
like a wheelbarrow full of wedding rings. Like, okay, that's that many people that just got.
My 10th grade teacher had us watch the like documentary on it, where they were piling these lifeless, naked bodies,
right,
in just droves in just piles of dug out dirt. There was
skin and skeletons. Yeah, that's so.
I think that was, other than seeing people in funerals, my loved ones in funerals, that was the most death I'd ever seen in my life. But I knew that was real.
But the count for all of that, everybody drops back to that. But how many other regimes in history has done that and way worse?
Right.
God.
And there's a lot more, spoiler alert, cult leaders that have done this same shit, but in different ways.
Yeah.
But we're going back. We're in the beginning stages here, okay? So, the cousins, they would go back and tell their mom and dads, like, what they were doing in the woods with old JIMBA, and they were like, no, stop. And you can't do that no more. So he also had a real fascination with death and would almost force the town kids to attend funeral services that he would leave for animals. Like, he was like this collector of strays. And and of course, and they all a lot of them lived on farms. They were familiar with death, but Jim had to have a funeral for everything, a lizard, all that. Now, kids his age would start to get creeped out by him. So what do you do when you can't get any friends your own age? You go to the younger crowd. And he got the younger kids to follow him. And he would take his followers to the town casket manufacturer, and who left their doors unlocked because, small town, they're leaving everything unlocked. And he would have them lay down in these caskets so they could see what it would like to be dead.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Come on, JIMBA. Sounds like you're
we're in Jimmy.
Monster.
We're in Jimmy now. We're in Jimmy. We're in Jimmy territory. So Jimmy would also be found in the woods, sometimes by his friend Max, practicing putting on sermons to the trees.
So now he's off Pride Rock and he's doing his own thing.
Yes. Now these weren't sermons, okay, because Max, when he recounts the tale, they weren't sermons like he was passionately preaching. It was a show. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
he was learning how to be a good actor.
He was learning how to be a good showman, a good actor, yes.
This is the greatest show.
Now, since Jimmy was left alone a lot and didn't...
They're all up there. They're all like, wow! Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've been waiting for. So he's just like doing it. So he's went from Simba to the Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
This is great.
This is gonna be, we can mention all kinds of shit throughout his life, okay?
Wow.
So since Jimmy was left alone a lot and didn't always have food available, he would go to the candy stores and just kind of take what he wanted. And the vendors didn't really get mad or say anything to him because his mother would come by and pay for whatever he had taken at the end of the week when she would get paid. Now, Lynette never corrected this behavior, though. She wasn't like, all right, Jimba, you can't go to the store and just take things without buying them. No, she actually was proud of his audacity and defiance. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me where you want to go.
So Jimmy told his friends that he had obtained the power to fly. And then he jumped off a roof. And he didn't fly, of course, and ended up breaking his arm. But he still believed that he had special powers. So now Jimmy knew a lot about sex, being around farm animals and living in a thin-walled house. But no one, and all the other kids did too, but no one else would talk about it except Jimmy. He talked about sex all the fucking time. Like he would have like little lectures on his porch to younger kids about sex. Yeah, it's wild. And that's gonna remember that for future episodes, okay?
Let's talk
He
about
cussed-
all the fun things and the bad
He
things.
cussed all the time as a child. When other parents would express their concerns to Lynette, she didn't care. She was like, that's my Jimba. Okay?
You're kidding me.
So in high school, it seemed that Jimmy was always talking about religion, sex, and death. Those were his 3 favorite topics, and they pretty much will be forever. Okay,
it's not gonna work out right. It's not gonna be. It's not cool, man. It's not.
Most of the
it's not a
towns
good wave to ride, bro. No,
Yeah.
it's not cool, man. No.
Most of the townspeople felt sorry for him because his mother was weird and godless, and they assumed that his father was an abusive drunk. They assumed that there was no evidence to that. Okay.
No, he was just barely getting by.
I was gonna say he was severely disabled, and they live in a dry fucking county. Now I know that doesn't make a single fuck, but the pool hall that he's hung out in all day only served soda and coffee. So unless he had a connection bringing him some booze all day, but he could not physically abuse anybody.
I'm seeing a weird connection with him and his mom. Like that's
It's same. Yeah.
a very disgusting connection.
She is promoting his weirdness because she's weird herself. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that Lynette was way ahead of her time as far as her tactics go. Because fuck yeah, bitch, you wear pants. Fuck yeah, you smoke cigarettes in public.
That's cool, but at the same
cool.
time, like you can't let your kid run amok the wrong way.
Promote bad behavior and can't be like, oh yeah, Jimba, that's my boy. Go steal some more candy bars. I'll pay for
it later. Yeah, no regrets in life. No slap on the hand there for old Jimba.
Right.
Oh man.
But Jimmy, he liked the sympathy and he would run with that, okay? And he also stood out in high school because he wore his Sunday clothes every day, as the rest of the schoolboys wore jeans and t-shirts during the week and only dressed up on Sundays. He didn't participate in the boys' after school ball games, and mostly said it was because he didn't. Most of the other towns boys said that it was because he didn't like losing. But that's just speculation.
He's going to dress as a winner. I'm going to dress as a winner all the time
because Jim was a natural born leader. He'd organized his own team one time and coached them himself. This was when he was a teenager. He was driving these kids to game at 14 illegally.
What?
Yes.
We're going on tour. I'm getting the band back together. We're going to play the New York Knicks.
And I mean, he would sit down and he would make organized stats for the team to look at. And these were all kids younger than him. So, of course, they were easier to manage. And he made the team schedule and he got sponsors for the equipment.
Holy shit. Intelligent.
This is the beginnings, okay? Yeah, he's very intelligent. We'll get more into that later. Okay, so then one day he was talking to his team about strategies for the next game, and then he trapped a puppy. Remember, like I said, he was always collecting strays. He trapped a puppy and he let it fall. I think it was like he was in a loft and there was a trap door, and he let the dog fall all the way to the ground onto the hardwood floor.
No.
And these kids didn't want to hang out with him no more after that.
No.
So the team disbanded, and yeah.
The band broke up.
The band broke up.
We ain't got no fucking band.
But that didn't stop old Jimmy, okay? Because he's going to continue in life. So one day...
I'd hate to see what Jimmy does in his chicken shack.
One day in Jimmy's teen years, here we go, okay? You ready? An apostolic or a Pentecostal church came to town.
Ooh.
And they hung up flyers saying, if you want to come to our service, you'll be speaking in tongues.
Here we go.
And Jimmy liked that shit, okay?
He's finna learn it.
And he loved how the services had hooping and hollering, and it was just wild, and it was a celebration, and he soaked it all in.
I can speak in tongues, Lindsay.
And guess who thought even that shit was weird? Lynette. She was like,
whoa. Can I speak in tongues real quick?
Shabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-doo.
No.
Oh.
Skibbity-witty-witty-doo-boo-doo-boo. Boom-boo-doo-boo. Skibbity-witty-witty-boo-doo-boo. Boop, 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 boop.
Beep, bop, 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 bop.
Yes.
Bop, 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 bop.
In the name of Jesus.
Do you remember there was a... Shit, I'm breaking our microphone. There was a Spanish dishwasher
A Spanish
at Cracker
Barrel.
And that was how I communicated with him.
Well, every time I say that, I'm thinking of him back there hucking dishes.
His name...
And Lindsay's all like, with her teeth out?
Yes, his name was Cesar. And that was how we communicated. He would just start singing, beep, bop, 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 and I would go, bop, 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 bop. Yes.
Well, he was Pentecostal.
He would try so hard. He was the sweetest man. He would try so hard to tell me stories. And, because he, minimal English. I mean, uno... Paquito,
you had to point at that stuff, yelling.
Right.
Fun,
he would try to tell me stories, and I was trying so hard to understand them. I would close my eyes and try and listen to his words and pick them out to try to translate. Because I know a lot of Spanish. It's hard for me to put it together fluently. But anyways, Lynette, like I said, she was not on board. She was not on board with this shit. Much. But Jimmy, he still went as much as he could. And they had weekly services. Okay, they didn't just have shit on Sundays. You could go during the week. You could go on Wednesdays. I guess that's when Wednesday services got started. And they had revivals on Saturdays.
And every time they passed the bucket. Every single time.
Oh, yeah. Because you got to pass the bucket for the preacher. You got to pass the bucket for the choir. Because the choir, at any Pentecostal or tent revival or any kind of service that I've been to. Now, little teenage Jimmy, he would notice that there were not many black people in Lynn, Indiana. And he would notice that the ones that did live there were not treated as equals. And he didn't like that. So he would hang out with them, also making the townspeople side-eye him. And he would go to the nearest big town in Richmond where he would find where the black people would congregate the most. And he would start preaching to them about equality. And he would tell them if they just stayed strong, better times were coming. And that's a direct quote. In Jimmy's senior year in high school, 1948, Lynette, she had taken up with a lover from Richmond. Now Big Jim, old Jim, as we're going to start calling him now. He's old Jim, okay? He was very disabled.
Call him Daddy Jim.
Daddy Jim.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Daddy. Stop it. Oh, I'm going to throw it. Because next episode, you're going to see why that's not cool. Okay. So old Jim, he had been not able to meet Lynette's needs for a long time, okay? So she had already taken up with a few lovers, but she took up with one from Lynette. She decided to leave old Jim, and she took Jimmy with her. And they just left that guy.
What?
Neither one of them had any respect for him, whatsoever.
Dude.
Now, this made old Jim sad, and he left his home, and he stayed in a hotel or a motel, whatever, week by week, until he died in 1951. And it's reported that Lynette and Jimmy did not attend that funeral.
What?
But Lynette did file a widow's claim to get that pension.
You want that money.
I mean, but it wasn't a lot. It was $30 a month, which was even less at this point, okay? So now they're in Richmond. Lynette was working at a factory. I think it was a glass factory there too. No, it was a parts factory. And Jimmy, he got a night job as an orderly at Reed Memorial Hospital. He's 17 now, okay? And he was going to school during the day.
I was fixing to say, he's still in high school.
Yeah, this is where...
And has already done more than most 30-year-olds have done.
Oh, my God. Like I said, people in those days were 40 by the time they were 17. I swear to God,
Whoa.
okay? So, this is the beginning of where Jimmy, he's still Jimmy right now, okay? He learns how to live with very little sleep. He found a group of friends that believed in Christian communism, and they would call him Jonesy. That was his nickname when he was in high school. Jonesy.
Jonesy?
Jonesy. What is the show where there's a character named Jonesy?
Jonesy and the Pussycat.
No, that's Josie.
Josie. Oh, whatever. Josie. Now
at this time, the Cold War was going on. So the kids, they would keep their beliefs like within their group. They weren't expressing them verbally, But as you will know, and as anybody that knows anything about Jim Jones, like socialism and communism was his jam. Okay. His jam. That's his shit. So here we go.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy whatsoever.
Not in religion.
So Jimmy excelled in school and he loved his orderly job. Like he unhealthily loved it because he had to deal with a lot of death and amputated body parts.
Wow.
That didn't bother him at all. Not even in the slightest. And it was at Reed Memorial where he would meet Marceline Baldwin. Marceline was a senior nursing student. Marceline was a senior nursing student and a little older than Jimmy. I think she was 23 at the time. And she belonged to a deeply religious Methodist family. And Marceline was musically inclined and she sang at church often. And her sisters would also sing at Reed Memorial for the old folks and in retirement homes. They called it their music outreach program. Okay. Marceline wanted to live a life of Christian service and had planned on leaving Richmond to move to Kentucky with one of her friends, one of her very close friends. Then she met Jim. She met Jim Jones. And Jim helped her with a corpse one night, and he already had an excellent reputation around the hospital. This guy knew how to make you absolutely love him, and we'll get on into it where if he gets mad at you for something that you believe in, you end up apologizing to him. It's fucking weird, okay? He and Marceline would grow very close after this, and Jim would tell her tales of his horrible childhood and his alleged abusive father and how he had grown up poor and hungry. Marceline believed that he was a man of God and wanted to help people. So she brought Jim home to meet her parents and warned them that he had a rough upbringing. So her parents thought that they could help him conform to be a more mild-mannered person because Jim was loud and he was crude. But Jim was like, no, I want you to be more like me, right. If anything.
His persona is working for him.
Yes.
He understands, like, if I push this and I'm loud and intelligent enough to actually sway you into whatever, I'm winning.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Jim believed that the rich kept the poor down. And Mr. Baldwin, Marceline's dad, being a wealthy man himself, said that this was just not true. Like, he considered himself to be very much a person who gave back from his wealth.
And that's what I've seen in my life, too.
Right.
Like, if somebody has money...
Not all of them do.
Not all of them, no. But
because honestly,
my workability,
like,
they're giving you an opportunity,
In my line of work, being a tipped employee, it is the ones that are known around town that to have money that actually tip a lot cheaper than our middle class hardworking. Not saying that the rich aren't hardworking.
That's just cheap people.
Yeah. Jim was, he was set in his socialist / communist beliefs, and you could not change his mind. Let me remind you, he's 17 years old. Most people don't have that deep-seated beliefs and set in their ways till they're much older.
Right.
This fucker is 17.
These kids nowadays haven't even stopped playing video games yet.
No.
Nor even thought about a driver's license or a job right now.
Right.
They're just like, no, I'm cool in my bedroom.
Right.
Just get me an Xbox. I'm good.
But, I mean, the Baldwins, they ended up accepting Jim for who he was because they were like, if Marceline liked him, there's got to be some good. She was a very lovely lady. She was a very lovely young lady at that point and will always continue to be one. So they gave Marceline their blessing when Jim proposed marriage. Now, Jim ended up resigning from Reed Memorial to move to Bloomington and enroll in college classes there. And he would just come home and see Marceline on the weekends and stay with the Baldwins. But Jim and Marceline would get married on June 12th, 1949, in a double wedding with her sister Eloise and her husband. Now, I'm sorry, double weddings that's strange to me, but I know that was a thing for a while. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it just depends.
It was a thing.
Depends on your connection, with the person. So,
well, soon after the wedding, while Jim was at home at the Baldwins, when he was home from school for the weekend, Miss Baldwin said, in her opinion, that it was not Christian for people of different races to marry. And she called Black people the N-word and said that they were communists. And Jim lost his shit. Now, I can get behind him on that. You know what I'm saying? I can get behind him. But this woman, at the same time, was in her own home, voicing her opinion on what she had also been brought up to believe. So
yeah, she was, yeah.
Jim, he loses his shit, and he said he would never eat at their table again as long as he lived, and told Marceline that she would have to choose between him or that bitch.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
and they left.
They dropped it.
And they left.
Well, rightfully so. I mean, you know better inside,
right.
Even if it's brought upon you. I don't know. I mean, there's just so many shitty narratives.
It was, I mean, you and I were raised in mine was probably a lot more than yours. And that same type of mindset, we were born in the 80s and grew up in the 90s. We were still in that same type of, brought up in that same type of mindset. Like, Jesus Christ, if my granny saw a white woman with a black man or vice versa, she just clutched all her pearls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not so much my family.
Okay.
We were kind of a little bit more outgoing. And
mine was absolutely not. And I mean, my father is one of the kindest people ever and had no problem with any kind of races, but he thought the same as this woman here. Right. He literally thought that it was a sin for mixed races
we took
to be in relationships.
What we was brought up on, literally, like, God created man,
right.
It's all love. It's all love. So no, there was none really of that. Now, on my dad's side, there was a little bit of deep grain stuff that was brought up on him, but he also knew better also. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the same time, he would be a little,
have been breaking them chains.
Yeah.
Continuously.
Well, and just like what we said the other day, the way to stop it all is to quit talking about it.
Right.
The only reason why it even exists nowadays
but
is
at the
people
same
keep
time,
talking about it,
and I don't want to get political whatsoever at all, but the whole picture's got to change a lot for that all to stop.
It all has to stop. Yeah.
But we're going to move on with this. So when they left, when they would visit Richmond again, they would actually stay with Lynette. And if the Baldwins came over to see Marceline, Jim, he would go out the back door. And they ended up apologizing to him. But at the same time, I see Jim's point there.
Yeah, they should
100%. That was he was trying to break that chain of racism. Mm-hmm. And he will continue to do that. And that's one good quality that this man had. Remember how I said Marceline thought that Jim was a man of God? He actually told her he didn't believe in her God. And that a just and loving Lord would never permit human misery. And I could kind of get behind that too. You know what I mean?
Well, still twisted by man.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You put those words down in that book
and
the way you wanted to.
We weren't there. We weren't there. We don't know.
No.
Yeah. So this caused a lot of fights. And Marceline even thought about divorce But her mother actually said, girl, Baldwin women don't get divorced. So it'll all be okay. Now, if she only knew the future, she might, oh, Mrs. Baldwin might have said a few different things. Yeah. So Marceline just stopped arguing with Jim about that subject, and Jim would still go to church with her. Now, Marceline had a 9-year-old cousin named Ronnie who had lost his father, and his mother had many of what you would call unsuitable lovers, and he would end up in foster care. So Jim and Marceline took Ronnie in, and they moved to Indianapolis, where Jim wanted to study law now. He's
moving on.
Yeah, he's moving on. Ronnie was 10 years old, okay? And he was forced to listen to long lectures from Jim about sex. Jim thinking the boys should just know everything that there was to know for some reason. And sorry, Jim, that's a little young. Nope.
Yeah.
And he would also tell Ronnie that his mother was a whore. That's also not cool, Jim. It's not cool. So in 1952, Jim began attending meetings about communism and would bring along Marceline and Ronnie. She began to believe that what she was hearing about the government being responsible for the poor was true. You know, she started soaking in all that information, and kind of, yeah, that's deep. We ain't going to go there, but, you know, there's points to be made.
Yeah.
So Jim also began to despise the church and felt they were not doing enough to actually help the needy. Also, I'm behind you on that.
Yeah.
But then the platform of integration, helping the needy, free speech, prison reform, and things like that were introduced into the Methodist Church, and Jim was back on board. He's like, all right, I got you. I'm listening.
I'm with it now.
Feeling you.
Yeah.
I'm feeling you now.
All these points do seem valid.
Yes.
They do. They really do.
And I don't want to spoil too much in the future, but Jim will go on to make a lot of moves for the poor. And it's just very unfortunate how all this ends.
So now we're working on Team Jim at the moment, though.
Yeah. Right now, and a little bit into the next one. Yeah.
Little creepy, but
Yes.
Team Jim.
Oh, he's very creepy and crude. And
I never thought I'd say this.
he's a little too outspoken.
Yeah.
But at the same time, got to remember, 1951, he's 20 now,
Right.
I think. This kid's 10. And he's known about this shit his whole life. So he's thinking he's doing this kid some good.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, people in their late teens and 20s were 40 years old at that point. At that time
40.
period. And damn sure did. My God.
Got wore out quick, man. Life was hard, though.
So Jim's back on board. And now he wanted to become a Methodist minister. And Marceline was thrilled. Now, while he searched for a church that would have him as a student pastor, he would take Marceline and Ronnie to black churches because that's what he really liked. Black churches were more fun. You didn't have a time limit. You didn't feel as though you were fulfilling an obligation. You just wanted to be there. And Marceline, she loved the music because she was musically inclined. So that type of music just
More
really spoke
upbeat,
to her.
more
It's more
organic.
upbeat.
You know,
Yes.
you're just living it.
I mean,
you know,
Jim was in
feeling
his
it.
element here. He was in his element at the black churches, and he made so many friends. And he got down to politics of how the black community was treated differently than whites. And you cannot argue that, period. Especially back then.
Yeah.
Now, in the summer of 1952, Jim was hired as a student pastor for Somerset Methodist Church. Now, this was an impoverished church, but Jim was happy. Now, he was 21. 21.
That's it.
That's it.
Youngin'.
We got a 20-year-old in our house right now, nowhere near.
Don't think he'll ever be. Well, in a lot of ways,
I mean, we
I
don't
hope
want to
not.
jump jokes.
I
Yeah.
hope not.
We don't want to jump, but I'm just saying,
No.
like, as far as
the
charismatic
drive
thinking and drive,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Well, too, though, the louder you
He goes
are,
to
the
work
more you
and hangs
seem
out with
that
his
you're
friends,
right.
yeah.
You know, so if somebody's just like coming at you and they're loud as fuck, the quiet people are usually the ones that are true and right. You know, but he's doing good shit though. At the same time, I'm like kind of Team Jim still. Like,
And around this time, he wanted to legally adopt Ronnie. Could you imagine? being 21 and wanting to legally adopt. Even having the thought.
No, I was still trying to grow up too.
Yeah, we're still trying to grow up.
We're not going to grow up.
But Ronnie, he declined because he wanted to be back with his mother and brothers. And this hurt Marceline like emotionally. But Jim was motherfucking pissed. And this is where you'll see from here on out. If Jim does something for you and you don't accept it, he takes that real personally. Real personally.
Finna clap back.
He's good. But he did end up sending Ronnie back to his mother and brothers, but not before giving him an all-night rant about his mother was a whore and all that jazz. Yeah. And he actually came to an event back in Richmond, where Ronnie was there. It was at Marceline's parents' house. Ronnie came because he was invited, because he's the nephew. He was Marceline's nephew.
Right.
And Jim showed up, and Ronnie started running from Jim. He was that terrified of him. Jim starts chasing him down with a fucking vehicle.
Really?
Yeah. But I guess it was after that, Jim was like, all right, I'm going to back off. Whatever.
Whoa.
And because it wasn't long after that, after Ronnie returned to his mother, that they found another unfortunate child to give their their affection to. And this little girl.
I think you were right. I think you're right.
What? Infection? Yeah.
I think you're right.
And this little girl was named Agnes. And they adopted her quickly.
One of my favorite names.
I know, Agnes.
Oh.
And Agnes, she doesn't come up a lot in further endeavors as much as the other children will that he'll acquire along the way. So they've adopted Agnes now. And Jim being a student pastor, that really didn't pay very much. I mean, Marceline was still doing her nursing work, but Jim had to do odd jobs to make ends meet. And one of those jobs was selling spider monkeys door to door.
What?
For $29.99.
$30 spider monkey.
How many spider monkeys were around that time?
I don't
And where do you get them from?
What was the monkey off of the gemstones at the end there?
Dr. Watson.
Dr. Watson's. He was slinging Dr. Watson's all over the United States.
Well, what I just think is hilarious, what I think is hilarious is they have tied in this parody of a megachurch, all shit of megachurches throughout history.
Right. Goodness gracious. Do you think Danny McBride actually looked into that and was like, there's monkeys?
Absolutely.
Dude, he used so much of that shit in Righteous
Well, he grew up
Gemstones.
in shit like that. So that's where he got a lot of his inspiration.
He didn't have to do a lot of research on finding something real organic, charismatic Christian church stuff.
Because it's all weird.
It's all there.
We're going to cover next year, because I've already got pretty much everything I want to do for the rest of this year. We're going to cover some more megachurch fuckers next year. They weren't exactly cult leaders, but there was true crime involved. So, and it's important to me because I grew up in that world and it's so corrupt. Oh God.
I never have been to a mega church before.
So our local mega church you've been to. Yes. Which is like a mini mega.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're selling stuff in your church, it's not right.
No, I don't think so.
Wasn't
either.
that like dispelled by, somebody?
I mean, according to the Bible,
Flipping
like
tables
Jesus
up and-
flipped the tables
Yeah.
at the synagogue for selling goods.
But we can have Starbucks in ours.
Yeah.
So is that the same book that y'all are looking into here? What?
Well, I mean, all the mega churches that I ever went to, they all have gift shops.
Cash grab.
They all have
merch.
gift shops of that same preacher. And those episodes on tape that you can buy, there's specials you could buy. I mean, it's just all been a cash grab for sure. So
Tax free too. Oh.
Yeah, so tax free. So Jim would also attend as many revivals in reasonable driving distance as he could. And this man was taking notes. He was studying the evangelists. he was remembering what phrases would get the biggest response from the crowd. What scriptures, anything that was getting a hallelujah, amen, brother, blah, blah, all that shit. He was soaking that in. He was taking notes on this. He was getting ready for his platform, okay? So he really started focusing in and paying attention to those faith healings and driving out demons.
Ooh.
Have you ever been to a church where they would just touch your forehead and
you fell down with the flopping? Yeah. You have
so
a lot more than me.
Wild to me.
But yes, I've seen it.
Because personally. That was when I was growing up, I thought that was absolutely normal. Now that I'm an adult and I'm like, oh.
Now, I've felt stuff where I got chills or been, completely just enthused and stuff, especially doing powwow music.
Well, I mean, it's spiritual. It's beautiful.
Right.
But we also get those same feelings when we go see live music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is so I saw a meme one day where it said, when I was growing up and I used to cry at church, I thought it was because I was feeling the spirit. But then I grew up, got away from religion, but would also feel that same feeling at a live concert. And now I just know I like live music.
Well, I mean, you can also get the same feeling between the hedges in Gainesville. Go to a football game.
Yes.
80,000 people.
No,
I got chills. That's a whole.
Get teary-eyed though. Power. How many times have you seen me bawl at a concert? How many times have we balled together?
Yeah, musically,
at concerts,
yeah. Oh,
yes.
Emotional.
Music is our jam. Yeah. That's why.
Well, it's a different emotion with football, though. I'm saying you got or any sporting event where you got like everybody like rah, and we're all together, and it's just like
that's exactly what a mega church service is like.
Emotion, you know?
A fucking football game.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been to both.
Yeah.
So Jim decided, and this is a direct quote as well, if these sons of bitches can do this, so can I. So he started preaching at revivals. And before the service would start, he would mingle and start taking mental notes of what people were talking about, their ailments, or what kind of healing they were in need of. Then the sermon would start, and he would point that person out. And he would be like, I know what you're going through, and your life is going to turn around. Or I know what's ailing you, and you will be healed in the name of Jesus. Sorry, I'm going to completely get into this shit because I've been there, I've done it, I've watched it happen my whole life.
Don't work yourself up into another hot flash over here.
Well, this just wowed the hell out of his crowd and even his wife.
Right. They didn't know that there was a better way. They thought they were going to he was going to fix them and make them have a better life.
This had already started becoming a big thing.
So how many times in your life have you been told, if you live the way of Jesus, you're always going to be successful? You're always going to be prosperous. You're always going to have this and everything's going to work out. Dude, you got to work for that shit. He don't want you to just be like, well, follow me and everything's going to work out. You still got to work. Following him is also working and doing for yourself.
Right.
It's in there. So you can't just be like, I'm going to ride this wave and everybody's going to fix it for me.
I have refilled my cup of my mango and peach. That's what I'm going to be on all day today.
I'm on another 7-Up sugar-free.
You need to drink some more of that damn Bloody Mary.
It's starting to get watered down, but I love it.
It doesn't matter. It's still good.
It is good, but
because it's lots of packaged
that and that don't go together much.
And I even gave you a garlic piece in there.
See it in there.
You a garlic clove
swimming.
In there. Well, word spread real quick about this young preacher who could read minds and had prophecies. His crowd, it grew bigger and bigger. And then at one revival, this little old lady called him a prophet. And that was music to Jim's ears.
Ooh. Woo. Got me chills. I've been touched.
I got chills.
They're multiplying. So now, like, he's just building it up and he's getting more power because he loves that feedback and being able, and it's not really hard to control people back then because they're kind of living a little bit of simple life, you know?
Yeah.
And he knows what they're doing in life.
There's so much
knows what they're looking for.
Because we had a war, like every fucking decade?
And I feel like that is not really that hard to figure out people and then, caress them into making them feel like he's going to do something awesome for them. And you give them a little bit, and all you're doing is just giving them words, but that's going to inspire them, with enthusiasm. More enthusiasm, the more inspiration,
Well, just like I told you off mic, when I was younger and I was socially awkward, I did learn how to adapt to the crowds I was going to be around and say things that I knew that they would like, or agree with things that I knew that they liked that I didn't necessarily know shit about.
Right.
And it took me a while to figure out who I actually was and what I actually liked.
Right.
Versus what I was just pretending to like to be liked.
But you did your social adapting to be comfortable with yourself, not with any power narrative or anything like that.
And I figured out.
You were just trying to fit in and be like, okay, I can join this conversation.
Yes.
Or I can do my job better. There was no other narrative there. You're not like trying to get something from them. You know?
I took a self journey to figure out what I actually did like, where if you don't do that, it becomes very unhealthy. Yeah. You can't live your whole life like that.
No.
So with the crowds that Jim was drawing, he could talk about what he really wanted to talk about, which was socialism, racial equality, I'm on board with that, and integration, which are not bad things. But he was tricking people. He had them thinking he was pretty much like a miracle worker, you know. But most of his audience were white conservatives. So he would lose a lot of his audience at times. And that was before he leaves Somerset. Now at Somerset, he was actually asked to leave because some of the church members were accusing him of stealing funds, but this was not true because he didn't have access to that money whatsoever. So he went out on his own and he formed Community Unity.
Community Unity. And
it's got a nice ring to it, you know. Yeah. I would probably go there, you know, if I was looking for answers, looking for acceptance, you know.
Yeah, and if you had like some kind of a hard-working, oppressed life where you don't have much going on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everyone was welcome, but the focus was on the low-income Black community. Now we're in 1954. This is where, I know around 54, 55 is where the charismatic preachings really took off.
Right.
So
the birth of the regime of all the
hooping and hollering and
it's so easy to see through that shit, you know.
Now, his main goal was to attract the Black community to his church instead of the ones they were already attending. So he stepped up his showmanship, as well as getting involved in making changes in the community. He would ask his congregation what was bothering them, and then he would do things to help these problems go away. Like, for example, there was one woman who was paying her electric service on time every month, doing what she's supposed to do, but she was not getting repairs. Like, there was light flickering. There was shit that needed to be repaired that the electric company was not given a shit about fixing because of who the community that she lived in. So Jim and Marceline wrote strongly worded letters, like during service, okay, and would get signatures, and they would write these to the company, and guess what? The repairs would happen,
making it happen.
And now after that, and he started just help. He would do this every week.
Which is notes that he took before, because if a church community comes together, and they're supposed to take care of the community.
Exactly.
So that's just being a good person, you know, period. But he took some good ass notes, didn't he?
He sure did.
Damn.
He sure did. But like I said, at the same time, he was doing good things at the same time, where he was taking notes for more sinister actions later on.
Yeah.
He was still doing good things in the community and would continue for a very long time.
Well, yeah. All bad things can be built on good platforms.
Right.
You know?
Now, after this would happen, like I said, they would do it every week. They would start writing letters to whoever they needed to write letters to. He would just say, "What the hell's going on with you? What can we do to fix it?" And he would help. Now, the congregation would start to grow and grow. And after a while, he would need a new space. So he decided to do some traveling preaching gigs to rake in some money, you know, and he would do some tent revivals as well. Now have you ever been to a tent revival?
Several.
Okay.
I feel like that was the real birth of all the charismatic stuff. I mean, everybody. I mean,
like I said, in the 50s, that's where it was
roll
going
into churches till later on.
And that's 54 is the time that both of my parents were born.
Yeah.
So that's literally what they lived in. Now,
they were doing stuff like that in the 20s still, like the tent revival stuff.
But it wasn't. It didn't become what it became.
Yeah.
What I grew up in until the 50s.
Right.
That's when that was birthed.
It was a different shift. Yeah.
Right. The speaking in tongues and all that. That was a new thing. So he would gain crowds so large that at times people would have to be turned away. Now, these were at his tent revivals, not at Community Unity. That was just his weekly service on Sundays. Tent revivals, he's doing it big. Okay. More and more people were believing in his faith healings. And tons were saying that they had actually been healed by Jim Jones. I mean, well, by God, but through Jim Jones, you know.
Yeah.
Now, it is known that he would have plants throughout the crowd, but it is not known who all was involved. But so he would bring them in and be like, so we got to do this. And all right, so I didn't go into detail.
I know how this conversation's fixing to go right here. I know what you're fixing to tell me.
What the plants would do, okay? So he would point out one plant. Be like, you have cancer. By God, and you are healed in the name of Jesus. Now, the other plant would go to the bathroom with that plant. He would be like, now you go to the bathroom and you cough that mess up. You got cancer, you go cough that cancer up right now. So they would go to the bathroom, and what would happen was they would have chicken guts, and they would put it in a napkin. So they would come out, I coughed it up, here it is, in a napkin. And it was almost to the point of rotting, so it would smell bad.
Yeah.
And he's got a napkin, and you can't come see it. It's highly infectious. You can't come near it.
Right.
But by God, in the name of Jesus, you are healed. Or the name of Jim Jones, whatever he was saying. I'm going to get, next 2 episodes, I'm going to try to get some more of the, because this fucker was so narcissistic, he recorded everything. Everything. Yeah, so he would do things like that. He would have people that could actually walk be in wheelchairs.
Yeah, I know that being factual. Like, they would put people out there to be automatically healed, or they wanted more inspiration.
Jesse, this makes me mad.
And he would tell them, though, to get them to actually do that, I'm sure that he would tell them, if you do this with me, it's going to help them in the long run. So it's not lie. It's not a lie. It's to help God find his way into their lives. So we're using this to help them. And they would believe that.
I grew up going to services where shit like this would happen after Jim Jones happened. Why? Why were there preachers being inspired to do the same bullshit that Jim Jones did? But you know what? Because there's a whole new generation who knows nothing about Jim Jones, like little old me, who was believing that.
Yeah.
And it's fucking terrible.
But they would tell them, though. They would be like, if we do this, even though you're not really hurt, or you're not really this, or you can really walk, it's going to help lead somebody else to God. You know what I'm saying? That's what they would tell them.
Or lead somebody else to come to their church.
Right. Or whatever. So.
And a lot of this is really sad. It's psychosomatic.
Yeah.
Like, and unfortunately, some people could not actually walk, and he's telling them to get up out their fucking wheelchair, and they're walking because they're like believing this man's about to heal them, and then they injure themselves more.
Right.
In the long run. But for that moment, they've got the adrenaline to do this and get out and say, because Jim's like yelling at him, so fucking take that step right now, Do it in the name of Jesus.
They're like, I'm going to try this. Last time I did this, I broke something.
I have seen it happen with other preachers that I grew up watching with my parents on TV. I watched this same exact thing happen. I had no idea who Jim fucking Jones was at that time in my life.
Oh, idea. Do you think the people that took you to that church was actually ever going to tell you about Jim Jones?
I didn't find out about Jim Jones from my family whatsoever.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't fixing to drop your family because I knew that's who took you, Lindsay. But
you know who they're not
going to tell you about this, though. They're going to tell you about what the fuck he did.
I didn't know. Like, I've heard the whole "don't drink the Kool-Aid" thing my whole life.
Yeah,
never understood where the fuck it came from until I heard Bailey Sarian cover it like 7 years ago. And
don't get too far into that part. Don't get too far.
No. I'm not. But I heard her talk about this case, and I went deep. I found everybody else that could cover this case, and I had already turned away from church going a long time ago when I became a server and started waiting tables on Sundays and seen how nasty that the church crowd is when they come in on Sundays. They treat us, the church crowd treats servers like garbage, and it's not just at my restaurant. It is known worldwide. I am a part of server groups who talk about it every week. Right.
Well, we're not going to talk about the Kool-Aid too much, but it has become a staple for American conversation, whether it's the literal Kool-Aid or don't feed into the bullshit, right? Right. There you go. So
that's a metaphor, yeah.
That's the metaphor. Then it's in common terminology now. We talk that, like British people say, go ride a bike or some shit,
Go ride a bike,
fly a kite or whatever,
But what I'm saying is, like, I had already pretty much turned away from church going and religion before I found out about this, and then going into other cults and other things that I found out that happened, and I'm absolutely not. You will not. I don't even want to go to a wedding that's held in a church. Like, that's how much.
But would a charismatic church ever have a sermon about Jim Jones at their church?
Like I said, I grew up going to church 3 or 4 times a week. I never heard about Jim Jones.
I want to find out if a charismatic church actually talks about Jim Jones and what he did with using charismatic stuff. We need to look. They're not going to. No. They're not going to shut down their own theme park.
Like bullshit. Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
They're not going to shut down their own theme park. They're not going to do that.
Yes.
No, sir. No.
So, a lot of people knew that were going to his church that a lot of his faith healings were bullshit, but he had already locked them in as followers, as friends. But his main goal was the teaching of socialism. That was his main teaching. Now, Jim would go on to raise the money for a new space, which was an old Jewish synagogue that still had the word temple on it. And instead of removing it, the new church was now called the People's Temple, but without an apostrophe, because there's no ownership, because we're socialists now, okay? Everybody's equal. It's ours. It's not just yours. It's not mine. It's not Jim's.
It is his. It is his.
But that's where we're going to leave off for this week. So now we have started the People's Temple.
And you have started my brain. Like, I'm looking to the side over here. So much shit's rattling and firing right now that I don't want to talk about because I know some shit.
I know.
Oh, so still Team Jones at this moment, right? Can you say that?
He's making good moves.
Some bullshit there. Some bullshit.
He's lying.
Some bullshit.
He's doing a lot of lying.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of manipulation. But he's still helping the community. And we're going to go on next week in part 2 to talk about how he'll help the community more.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And you'll see exactly what I was talking about when I said that you still have to do the work in life. You can't just rely on God to make it all happen for you.
He really wanted to improve the quality of life of the Black community. Yeah. And those will become his main followers.
And I believe that they were working. I believe they were oppressed. And I believe all that. I know for a fact they were looking for a better way.
And I want to go ahead and say this. Most of his church at this time is elderly Black women and a few elderly white women that had followed him from Somerset Methodist. So that's his audience at church. Now, at the tent revivals, and the traveling preacher gig,
he's trying to pull.
He's gained a bigger and bigger audience. Yeah.
So here we go.
Yes.
And then it's my turn.
Yes.
To play music.
What band are we plugging today? I see in your notes.
We are plugging this cool ass band called Ignicent.
Ignicent.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it for sure?
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it.
I think so too. Yeah.
And they have this really badass song, so I want you guys to check it out. It's an amazing band. They're from Chicago, Illinois. This song is called Monster You Made. You're going to love it.
I'm excited.
That is just like the epitome of a badass chick metal group.
Yes, so
awesome.
They remind me a lot of Beartooth, but with a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's just so clean, groovy.
Great job.
Oh, Chicago.
Ignisant. We're going to say that. That's what we're going to.
I love it. Whoa.
That's what we're going to say to him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm becoming the monster you made me.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Yes. So many cool bands I'm finding. Dude, that is fucking going to be... Oh, I'm jamming it all weekend, dude. We're jamming it.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah. We're rerunning that later on.
Rerunning it. Rerun.
Adding to a playlist. Yes.
Yes, I've already followed you guys on the Insta. Ooh. Instant Love.
I'm over here excited about this band. Like, that was more charismatic than anything I needed today. Woo!
Woo!
I had to go. I had to give them a woo, man. I had to give them a woo.
Yes.
They were woo worthy. Well, thank you for your story, Lindsay.
Well, I'm not. It's gonna continue for the next couple of weeks.
Round one.
We're gonna title this one JIMBA.
I think JIMBA won this round.
Well, up until the end.
Up until the end, with the plants and the the rotten.
Just fuck all that noise,
the rotten chicken guts and the
that'll continue.
Well, that was a great ending song. I mean.
Absolutely. Great job.
Crushed it.
Badass.
Your writability,
and now I'm gonna
your
dive into
studio,
everything about
everything was just perfect. If you come to Florida, we're going to see you.
Yes.
We're going to see you. That was hot.
I want to know what that means. What igniscent
means.
It means emitting sparks of fire.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So follow these guys if you enjoyed their sound. Yeah, I mean, female fronted from Chicago.
Yeah.
Her name is Jennifer Benson. Good job. Jennifer, you fucking
rock. Good. It's good.
It's very good.
In light of all of that and ending with all of that.
Yeah.
We'll see you with the next episode next Friday.
Yes, where we continue on the road to Jonestown, which is the name of the book that I'm listening to actively right now. Yes, on audiobook. To get my information.
All right. Mm-hmm. And as always, don't drink the Kool-Aid. We'll see you next Friday.
Don't drink the Flavor Aid. Bye.